Many people say that ignorance is bliss. The comfort of ignorance and the bliss of being unaware of some things that are happening around us are what makes ignorance seem so appealing.
Yes, I agree. We shouldn't worry about all things in our lives, especially those we can't control.
But what if we can change something and give a massively positive impact to something that is happening globally? And the only problem is that we don't know what to do to change it. The truth is, we can give our contribution to help global warming as simple as by changing what we put on our plate. Yes, our food. You might think, wait, what? How big of a problem is what I eat? Does it make much of a change in something as massive as global warming? I mean, as the name says, it's global, and I'm just a teeny tiny part of the earth. Isn't it too big to handle? Well, let me try to explain it to you. The food that we have on our plate comes through a process that made them contribute to global climate change. In fact, around 25% of all the global climate change problems we are seeing came from agriculture, forestry, and land use, which are influenced by the food that we decide to consume daily. Most fruits and vegetables have relatively low emissions. Poultry, fish, and other livestock emit a higher rate of greenhouse gas. The most concerning one here is beef. Wonder why? When we look at the emissions came from processing, transportation, packaging, and selling the food that we eat, most food contribute more or less the same amount of emission. What makes a huge difference between vegetables and animal product is the farming process. When cows eat their food, they go through a process called enteric fermentation that enables them to digest their food. Through this process, cows produce one type of greenhouse gas, that is methane. For each cow, around 95% of this gas came from here. Although it might be fun to watch animals burp, methane gas is dangerous for the earth. It contributes to about 16% of the total global greenhouse gas emission. Although it might seem far less than the amount of carbon dioxide we produce on this earth, methane is a powerful greenhouse gas. It traps more heat than carbon dioxide and has 25 higher global warming potential over 100 years. If we look at human-related methane emissions, enteric fermentation is essentially the biggest contributor, similar to natural gas. Can you now imagine how big of an impact cows' burps are? To give a little bit more context, take a look at this comparison between methane and carbon dioxide. For each year, 2 cows produce as much as heat-trapping greenhouse gas as 1 car driven 10,000 miles. That's a lot. And with the amount of meat we consume globally, this is something we should be concerned about. Now let's talk about the land use. When we compare vegetables and animal product, we can see the big difference is the amount of land used to fulfill animal agriculture needs. From building cattle farms to clearing lands for growing and processing food for the livestock. Human land use have grown so quickly, and we have less and less free land. But did you know that only a small portion of it is actually for us to live in? And vast majority of it is for, as you have might guess already, for agriculture. Converting free land to a farm releases carbon that was once stored in nature, such as trees and soil. This is why animal agriculture also contributes to CO2 emission for 11% of the total greenhouse gas emission. One more thing. 80% of the deforestation in the Amazon rainforest are done to make croplands to feed the livestock. Yes, livestock, not us humans. We need a lot of land, fertilizers, and about 1 billion tons of grains to feed livestock around the globe. For that 1 billion tons of grains, if we directly consume them, we can feed 3.5 billion people and reduce way more carbon dioxide than ineffectively transforming plant energy to animal energy through cattle farming. A person with a vegan diet has about 2/3 of footprint from food compared to the average American diet, and half that of a meat lover. The individual footprint of an average American diet is around 2.5 tons. Meanwhile, for the vegan diet, it's only 1.5 tons. And for total greenhouse gas emission per person is 8 tons, and we can reduce it by 28% by changing our diet and by reducing emissions and reforesting land. That's why what we eat does matter. A little side note, did you know that planting nuts, citrus fruits, and olive oil can reforest cropland? We should definitely eat more of that. So now you understand, what we put on our plates matters a lot. Yes, we can't directly change how animal agriculture works and reforest all the lands immediately. And yes, we still have to eat to survive, and necessarily all the food that we eat has a carbon footprint. But what we always have is a choice. A choice to do good as a human, a choice to be mindful of what we do, and a choice to save the earth. I believe in you. Let's start small and keep going. We can make the earth a wonderful place. Thank you for watching, and let's change the earth one meal at a time. Cheers!